Hello and welcome to my channel, Strong Fearless Fitness, where we discuss different health topics. I'm Sonia, and today I wanted to talk to you about epicondylitis. So, what is epicondylitis? So, what is epicondylitis? It's extremely common. It's basically there's lateral epicondylitis, which happens, it's tennis elbow or golfer's elbow. Lateral epicondylitis affects the outside of the arm here, the top of the forearm. And golfer's elbow or medial epicondylitis affects the inside of the elbow. And so, what happens? What is happening? What's causing your pain? Well, the muscles and the tendons are getting inflamed. So, usually it's caused from repetitive motion. It does not have to be from actually literally playing golf or tennis. So, just people who move their wrists a lot. And I'm a massage therapist. As I mentioned, I've been a massage therapist for the past 12 years, and I have my BS degree in kinesiology exercise science. And so I'm always using my hands, doing manual therapy on people, stretching people, and manipulating a lot of heavier men athletes. So my hands, sometimes my elbow, I get a little bit of pain too. And decided this would be a good topic because it affects a lot of people. Plumbers, people who are typing a lot sometimes, tile layers. There's a lot of different kinds of jobs, and it can create pain, inflammation, swelling in the elbow, weakness, and you can So yeah, it can happen, like I said, most commonly from as an overuse injury. But you can also get it from having an injury, some kind of sports trauma or something happening. But most commonly from people having overuse from their jobs. A lot of tension I find that people have problems is from doing the same thing all the time, and just overuse type injuries are the top injuries. So I did some research on different treatment methods, and when you first notice a problem, of course, you should always ice and rest. Ice is the best for inflammation. If you add heat, it could be a little bit more aggravating, so you want to make sure you're icing if you're getting this type of pain where it feels inflamed, hot, sharp pain, numbness, tingling. Those are all like nerve related type of inflammatory pains. You can also take over-the-counter meds like ibuprofen. You could get a prescription for naproxen, which will help bring down inflammation. For chronic epicondylitis, people do massage, physical therapy, acupuncture, and cryotherapy. I don't know if you've heard of cryotherapy. You're inside of this chamber, and it basically, they make it very cold, below freezing, and the cold brings down the inflammation in your body. And acupuncture, they're putting needles in at different trigger points or specific points to relieve pain, needles around your body. I am not a licensed acupuncturist, so I don't do that. They don't allow us to do that in California. There's 4 states that don't allow massage therapists to do acupuncture. Unfortunately, we're one of them, but that means there's people who do have more experience. Um, Another therapies include low-level laser therapy, extracorporeal shockwave therapy, low-frequency electrical stimulation. So you've probably had like a TENS unit type of thing used on you. Again, I would think it'd be more aggravating for a nerve issue. Usually TENS unit electrical stuff you'd use more on tight muscles rather than something that has current inflammation. But they also do platelet-rich plasma injections, corticosteroid, and glucose steroid injections. So the problem is, though, that with the corticosteroid injections is over time it creates more scar tissue and can actually cause more damage to your tendons. So you don't really want to have, keep going in for those kinds of shots. And there was actually a 2020 research study that was done, and they compared all of those treatments: corticosteroids, gamma therapy, low laser therapy, physical therapy, and acupuncture. They actually found that acupuncture had the best results for long-term pain relief. So the people went in, it wasn't just one time. They got acupuncture once a week for 6 sessions. So every, one time a week for 6 weeks. And then over a year later, they were still pain-free and feeling better from their epicondylitis. There was other groups that had, I think all of the groups found some relief, but it was impressive that acupuncture, who knew, would have the best results as far as long-term pain relief and actually working. I've never tried acupuncture and I've always wanted to, so I think that's actually something I'm going to try soon for myself. Also, in athletes, if you're playing sports, things that can help prevent epicondylitis is using the correct equipment, having proper body form. So if you're someone who just started lifting weights and doing a new activity, working with a trainer who's going to tell you if your form is incorrect. Because if you start off from the beginning with bad form, that's what can cause more injury later on and having problems like tennis elbow in your elbow or other types of shoulder injuries and issues later. And then if you end up with frozen shoulder, it's really going to be a big problem trying to fix that. So just warming up before you exercise is really important. Making sure you warm up appropriately. Also at the end of exercise, doing an appropriate cool down at the end, which we'll talk more about later in another video. But anything you do, you should warm up first, cool down appropriately. And self-care. So doing strength training can help prevent epicondylitis. Doing your warm-ups. Also stretching at the very end. So there's a couple different stretches you can do. I am going to include these stretches in the video. And you can start doing these every day. I mean, I know a lot of you spend a lot of time on the computer. Set your phone down or your computer and stretch your arms out. It'll really help if you start stretching every day. It will prevent a lot of these problems. So doing the self-care where you're stretching all the time. There was also this girl who wrote this book called The Melt Method. She has some videos on YouTube about the Melt Method, but getting like kind of a tennis ball, rubbing your hand over the tennis ball, rubbing it underneath your arm, rubbing it over your arm. You know, you can put a tennis ball behind your back on your shoulder. You can roll against the wall. You can put it behind your back. Laying on the floor with tennis balls across your low back, laying on the balls can really help. They actually make these foam rollers you can buy and roll the foam rollers on your back. You can roll with it over your arm too if you wanted. So just doing things to self-massage or see a massage therapist, but people don't come in often enough to see me, so really doing self-care at home, the homework is going to help you out a lot more. Doing every day where you're stretching every day, warming up, and doing some rolling or self-massage type activity. That's really going to help. And then if you are experiencing pain, know how to quit. Like I said, ice and rest the area. Maybe consider wearing a brace, but sometimes people put on a brace and then they think, oh, I feel better. I'm good with the brace, so now I'm going to lift weight even heavier, and you don't want to do that. Or start trying to do more just because you have the brace on. So that's a bad idea. And so, yeah, one other thing I'd never tried was the cryotherapy. I've just recently found out they have a cryotherapy chamber at a chiropractic office in town, and I've been having an issue myself with, not with my elbow, but right where the deltoid attaches to the deltoid tuberosity, right here on my humerus. It's probably from doing all these years of massage, but I went in and had someone massage me and she rubbed me the wrong way or something. Something got pushed off with my arm, and I've had this lingering pain going on. And so I've been doing everything. Icing it right away. I did end up getting a corticosteroid shot. I've never had one my whole life, but so I didn't overdo it. I just got the one shot. I was using CBD Freeze from CBD MD. They have these great products. I started selling them in my massage office, and it has intense menthol and CBD with CBN in it, and I roll it on there, and it does work. It feels really good, but only temporarily works for this problem with my arm. It felt great on my back, and totally got rid of some back pain I had. But I also used this cream called Penetrex, which has arnica. Arnica is great with pain and muscle problems. Not really working. So I did get another massage, not quite working. I do have all my mobility back, and I have about 75% of the strength back. It's just a lingering pain. So I haven't been lifting any weights with my arms. Actually, that's not true. I did lift like little tiny, 5 pounds. I told my son I'm going to be buff on one side because I've been lifting a little heavy hand weight on the right arm and doing a really light on my left arm, because now it's been 8 weeks, so I'm kind of giving myself physical therapy, doing more, kind of working it out, but very gently babying it, and making sure I'm stretching every day, which I should always be doing anyway, but like a lot of you, I fall behind and don't always do my self-care that I'm supposed to do. So doing the stretches, I'll post the stretches, some more stretches in here. Doing the stretches for all the arms. So I'm going to show you a bunch of stretches for the arms, the hands, and you can do a lot of those stretches. Just trying to loosen everything up, and yeah, I'm thinking I'm gonna try the cryotherapy and some acupuncture. I'm not against modern medicine at all. I think it's very important, especially people who have certain conditions where they should be taking medications, um, to treat their hormones are off or something going on. Absolutely listen to your doctor if they give you medications or advice. But um, I always had chronic back pain. My whole life I have like some scoliosis. That means the bottom of my spine kind of curves a little bit, right above my butt where my sacrum is, and so it creates a lot of sciatic pain and problems. And instead of telling me, the doctor was quick to give me pain meds ever since I was young. And then when I was 19, I went to get my first massage to try it out, and I felt like I'd never felt no pain before. Like, I walked out and it was amazing. I'd never felt that good before. It was like, wow, really, it was life changing, because now I ended up becoming a massage therapist because I had such an amazing experience that I know massage therapy works. And I got a referral to also see physical therapy a couple years after that, and learning how to do lifting weights to build muscle on my back to support my spine, doing stretches every day, getting my regular massage therapy. I have been, able to stay out of pain and cure myself of these issues that were bothering me for a long time, so my whole life. So I think we should just look at alternative options first. And, massage therapy, physical therapy, acupuncture, these are real medicines. There's lots of research to back it up that they really can help with a lot of conditions, including tennis elbow and golfer's elbow, epicondylitis, which I've worked with some people who have who've had both. I see a lot more, I guess tennis elbow is a little more common, but I see some golfer's elbow too, and just massaging. Usually I tell them to come in twice a week, really work over those forearms, massaging, and have them go home and ice, and maybe even soak their arms in a bucket of cold ice water, and mix in, well, usually the water's warm first. You mix in some, Epsom salts, mix them in there, and then soak your arms in the bucket. Like, after you add some ice to let it cool down, then add ice to the water, then soak your arms in there, and it's really, really good. So anyway, I hope I gave you some good advice if you have a golfer's elbow or tennis elbow, epicondylitis. Now you know some things you could do. You should look up how to do appropriate warm-ups and cool-downs before your workouts. You should be stretching every day. Always warm up before you do any kind of stretches. Do a little exercise for a couple minutes, some movement to get the muscle warm before you stretch. You should be holding about 4 reps. I know what website was that? I think it's the occupational therapy. They tell you to warm up and do 4 reps holding your stretch for 45 seconds. So 4 times you're going to stretch it, holding each time for 45 seconds. I like to hold every stretch a little bit longer. I feel like it takes me 30 seconds to actually relax into the stretch, and then at the end you get that extra little amount of stretch. But yeah, it looks like it's starting to get dark out here now, so I gotta wrap this video up. I hope you learned a lot. Prevention, how to treat it, get massage, ice, rest, acupuncture, self-massage every day to prevent it, warm up, do all those things. All right. And you could drop a comment, like what kind of health topics would you want to hear about next that I could talk about. All right, let me know. Have a good evening. Bye.